Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the third episode of the On the Ball Fantasy Football Podcast, brought to you by the one and only Raffy Taffy Fantasy Football Network. I'm your host, Matt Silvis, and with me, my sexy little cum dumpster of a co-host, Raffy Mattioli. Raff, how you feeling after that dominating Bears defensive performance last night?
It feels good. I didn't win in a fantasy, but I will gladly sacrifice a fantasy win for a Bears one.
Bears.
Bears.
All right, well, before we get started, Raph, I know you're excited to make some announcements. Why don't you break those down for us?
Yeah. So if you haven't heard already, we got the Week 4 Pick'ems contest. It is a $10 buy-in, Sunday games only. And in the event of a tiebreaker, that'll be determined by predicting the combined score of the Monday Night Football game. You don't need to send me your predictions. I'll get that from you guys if there is a tie. And as you know, the winner receives a jersey of a player that they signed. They signed this jersey. And if you think it's a nobody, it is a somebody. They were drafted in the first round. And I'm excited to put this on. I hope you guys like it. If you're interested, Venmo Raffy CEO, send me your picks. You have until 10 p.m. on Saturday, the 28th. So submit it by then, and you'll be entered into this contest. And if you think this is a cool contest, stay tuned because I have the Big Kahuna brewing, a prize that's better than this. The Raffy Taffy Fantasy Football Network does it big. And as I always say, this ain't your mama's league.
All right. Well, Raph, that does sound fun. But let's get into the results of this week's matchups. All right. So just because it's on the top of my screen, let's go over my matchup with Dylan. I don't want to be too biased about it because it was my matchup. So, Raph, why don't you break it down for us?
185.96 to 113.64. Wow. I think I picked you to win that. Am I correct?
You did. We both did.
Okay, cool. Next matchup.
All right. Well, we got Justice and Jeff.
Ooh. This was probably my favorite matchup of the week. Jeff came back at 1. He was down something like 80 points at the end of the 10 o'clock games, and he came back and won it. And, for Justice, he was sitting there thinking Christian Kirk was going to come home, bring him $25 for the immaculate reception. But nope, Jeff came in. Keenan Allen.
Money.
Yeah, Keenan Allen put up 13 receptions. So Jeff beat Justice's ass and then took his lunch money.
Damn, that's ruthless.
Who did I pick for that?
You picked Jeff, man.
Damn.
It's like you Nostradamus over here.
Hey, well, call me Jeffy Danis.
All right. Well, the next matchup was actually my favorite matchup of the week. It's actually you over K Nasty.
That was your favorite.
Yeah, it was my favorite. It came down to how close it was. It was actually really close the entire time. You were sweating bullets.
I wasn't sweating. I never sweat.
You lost, so you were confident going into that last little 5-6 minute drive.
At the end of that Monday night game? I'll be honest. My first priority was getting the Bears W, and
that's fair.
It helps to sting a little bit. And I'll be honest, Kay, if you're listening right now, you got lucky, kid. I want you to enjoy this one. There's not a lot of people in the league that can say they beat me, and you're the only one as of now. So congratulations, buddy.
Honestly, Kaynard, you got real lucky that you beat him on a Monday night game because he was too incoherent with the Bears winning to care.
I was.
Had they lost, you might have been kicked out of the league.
I could agree with that. All
right. Well, let's go to the next matchup. You got Sega disappointing over Vic. Or not over, but under Vic. He is Vic is riding him.
Dude, Vic 3-0, the last undefeated team remaining. Congrats to him. And if you missed it, Vic and D Course have a little side bet. Week 10, Vic thinks he's going to be the leading scorer. They got $200 on the line for that. So I'm excited to watch that. I'm excited for everyone to see that.
I'm really hoping the money gets paid out in singles and we go enjoy ourselves.
Oh, Crazy Horse. Excellent establishment.
Shout out to Dan Kelly.
All
right. Well, the last matchup of the week, we got Danny Korst playing Lil J.
Both these teams were competing for their first W. Danny came in strong. He had a lot of good pickups. With Scary Terry, man, putting up 19 points against the Chicago Bears. So congrats to him working those.
Yeah, and
waivers.
I'm actually really happy that for Dan that Joe Mixon actually finally came to play. It wasn't a super strong performance, but he was just able to pull out that 17 and a half points. I think combined the last 2 weeks, less than 10. So he's been really struggling. Probably one of the main culprits to him being 0-2 to begin with. So Mixon showed up. He showed up. He gets the win.
Good for Dan. I'm happy for him. Congrats on your first win.
All right. Well, Raph, can you break down some of the league activity that happened this week?
Yeah, league activity. DJ Chark went for $35 to yourself, which ended up being a big piece for later. There were really only two, that one and Darwin Thompson. I paid $11 for him. He produced less than 2 points.
How do you feel about that, though? Are you going to keep him on your roster?
I don't know. I think, I was hoping with the who got injured on that team? Who was their starter?
Everybody.
Yeah, Damian Williams.
McCoy walked into the stadium with a limp. I know that. He still ended up putting up a good
23 points. He outscored. I don't even know who's the main guy.
I don't remember, but what I do know is that Darwin I thought he was the third man up. But
Daryl Williams.
Daryl Williams. They got so many Thompsons, Williams, Darwins. I don't even know. They got the whole evolutionary chain there. But I don't know, man. I have Darwin in almost every league, and I've been sitting on him. To me, he was a potential league winner. He had everything happen to him or for him this week with both the starters either being limited or out, and he wasn't the primary back.
Yeah, and I didn't even hear about Daryl Williams, so we'll see how much he goes for tonight. I'm probably going to roster him just because I don't see much on the waiver wire, but time will tell. And the only trade by K Nasty and Matt, Kaynard receives DJ Chark, Marvin Jones, and 20 fab for Josh Gordon. Which, funny thing about this trade, you basically traded 55 fab and Marvin Jones to get Josh Gordon. And DJ Chark was someone who K dropped earlier in the year when he traded for DD Westbrook. So
which he dropped after this trade.
Yeah. So interesting moves by K. But hey, he got his first win against probably the best opponent in the league. So good for him.
You're referring to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of having two big receivers on my starting roster being Josh Gordon and Edelman, but
hey,
it worked out. They both scored. They both did okay. But with that being said, both of them, I'm willing to trade one of them if somebody wants to reach out, send some offers my way, or to hit me up. We could chat about it. I just don't want to roster two, but I will if I have to, because those guys are going to put up some serious points. So one of the other things is I really hate seeing so many solid players get dropped due to injury. This week was probably one of the roughest ones I've seen in a long time. You got Big Ben, Cam Newton was dropped. Hunter Henry, who's someone that people put a lot or invested a lot into with high draft pick. He's gone for probably most of the year, if not all the year, the whole year. And Njoku was dropped along with a few others. But you know what sucks the most? Erectile dysfunction. Is your fantasy team as soft as you are? Are you unable to perform on game day? Is your manhood always popping up on injury reports? Don't worry, Roman is here to help you rise to the occasion. Studies show that 69% of guys that experience erectile dysfunction don't get treated. Thankfully, Roman has created an easy way for you to chat with doctors online. With Roman, you can get medical care for your broken dick from the comfort of your own home. With discreet packaging and 2-day shipping, no one will ever know about your performance-enhancing drugs, not even Roger Goodell. Getting started is simple. Just go to roman.com/ontheball to schedule your phone appointment with a doctor today. Roman, making men's health easy and your dick hard. All right, well, let's get into next week's matchups. The first one we got on this list is Sega versus Lil J. This looks like a cakewalk. Lil J, most of his team's on bye. I don't think he planned that far ahead, even though it's week 4. That's not a good sign if you plan on being a champion. Sega's projected to win by 99% chance. That I've never seen such a weighted projection before the game even started.
Does that
Have you?
mean you're going with Sega J as the winner?
I am. So I just can't. It would be giving you a free point if I were to pick.
Jalen. It looks like an interesting matchup, but I'm actually going to go with little J08 here. I think the guy hasn't had a win yet, but I've seen little J08 back against the wall. He may not have the best team, but I'll be damned if he doesn't have the biggest heart. So I'm going to go ahead and pick little J08.
You know what? And Sega is pretty accustomed to giving it away pretty easy to other dudes. Mm-hmm. So I commend you for your pick and your trust in him.
Hey, good luck, little J08. Don't steer me wrong.
Well, the next matchup we got for week 4 is Danny versus K Nasty. K Nasty just coming off a win over the best fantasy player. A big win, huge win over the self-proclaimed best fantasy football player of all time. And Danny, who just barely squeaked out his first win by 45 points. Who do you got for this one, my friend?
Man, I want to pick the team with the biggest balls, and but I can't pick myself. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with D-Course on this one. I think at the end of the day, K Nasty got lucky. His team is trash, and I'm embarrassed to have lost from it. So I'm going to let Danny take care of business.
Let's get two things straight. They're both 1 and 2, so neither one of them are good. But the second point is we've both seen Danny's balls. Not very big. Mm-hmm. So this one, I disagree. I think K Nasty gets his second win.
Wow.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Raf, third matchup of the week. You versus Jeff, last week's guest.
You know what? I'm going to be completely honest here. Jeff's got Le'Veon on a bye. He's going to get the full force of the HECAG beers. And I'm going to go with myself here. Honestly, I think Jeff talks a lot. But he doesn't really show it on the field. So I think I'm going to be 3-1. This one's going to be easy, and I'm going to give myself the win here.
Look, you got you're projected to win by 25 points. Looks to me on paper like a pretty easy win for you. To note, Jeff has been a little mouthy lately. Mm-hmm. That's not like him, but this league has really brought out the nasty in him.
I love it. That's what that's ultimately what my vision was when I created this league over 4 weeks ago.
Just 4 weeks ago? All right. Well, you know what? 3 weeks running, I have picked you to win the matchup. We were right week 1. Well, week 1 for the pick'ems. We were wrong the second week. This week, I'm picking you again. Perfect. So we both got you to win over Jeff. I don't think we're going to get that one wrong. So the next matchup, we got Justice versus Dylan. This is roughly 20 point projection in Justice's favor. But how do you feel about it? They're both 1 and 2.
He's got Kittle on a bye, first of all. So he's going to have to pick up a tight end. He's got Greg Olsen at Houston. And, he hasn't been playing so terrible. Week 1, 7 points. Week 2, 17. Week 3, 25. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And who's the backup in Carolina? Man, that guy was slinging it.
Kyle Allen.
Yeah, Kyle Allen. I'm gonna go with Dylan on this one. I think he could insert Greg Olsen. He could have a big game, and he won't even miss Kittle. So I'm gonna go with Dylan.
Well, let's wrap up next week's matchup.
Wait, who did you pick for that?
Oh, my bad. Well, I'm gonna have to make up some points somehow, so I'm going with Justice.
Really? You're gonna put yourself in a hole?
Probably. I'm already in the hole.
Okay.
We'll go over that a little bit, but
we'll see.
I'm already in the hole, so I'm picking Justice. Let's wrap it up with next week's matchups. Last but not least, me sitting at 2-1, facing off the current last undefeated player in the league.
In first place.
In first place, obviously. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Rick's gonna give it to you, bro. Honestly,
really,
this team's pretty good. He's got that D-Hop and Watson stack. Lucky lucky whoever gets to play him the week they go on by. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick Vic here, 100%.
Look, I don't hate you for this pick. I get why you would do it. His team looks like it's going to pop off. He has a higher projected score. Even it's only 13 points, but it's a higher projected score nonetheless. But I gotta believe in myself if I ever plan on being a champion in this league. So I am picking me.
That's foolish.
This could be a big week in this pick'em contest between you and I. I can either catch up a little bit, or actually completely, or you can, or I can fall real far behind. So
probably the latter.
Probably the latter.
Cool. So that does it. Weekly contest winner announcement. It was the Immaculate Reception. As I said earlier, Keenan Alley, Jeffy DeMoose, $25 cash. Congrats to him. Back-to-back winners, man. And I do want to add that I picked Keenan Allen to win the Immaculate Reception,
which gave you 2 extra points. And what's actually really crazy about this is not only did we have to pick the player in our predictions, but we also obviously we picked the team, but the player involved, right? So had Raph just picked Jeff and happened to be not Keenan Allen and someone else on his team, he would still get 2 points. But we went one step further and picked players as well. So not only did Raph pick the right player in our league, but he picked the right player in the league. And what's the extra funny part about it is I picked Cooper Kupp on my team. He actually came in second. So Raph, you and I, we're pretty boss at this.
We're fantasy experts. I'm just a little more expert than you.
Just a smidge.
And congrats to Jeff, man. But enjoy it now, because next week you're gonna feel my balls on your face.
Ooh, that's a prize in itself.
Yeah,
I don't know what you mean by that.
He wants to be back winners.
All right, so we have survival of the fittest. Week 1, Justice, we all know you were eliminated. Week 2, I was actually eliminated. Week 3, Jalen. Jeez, man. How pathetic can your team be?
He was hanging on.
It was bad. But, at the end of the day, you were the weakest link.
Goodbye.
The tribe has spoken. So, how immunity is going to work, we voted on it in the league, is if the highest points scored that week typically would get immunity, but if that player was eliminated in any of the previous weeks, there would be no immunity. It's a rough league. It's a rough life. So in this case, I actually had the most points scored this week, but I was eliminated last week. So Vic would have been the next highest scored, or Danny, one of the two. I don't know, but no one gets immunity, so it does not matter.
Mm-hmm. This league,
I like it. I like the rule change.
Yeah, this league doesn't reward second place.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
Nah, winners only.
All right, well, Raph, do you want to announce next week's contest?
Next week's contest, Bob Barker.
Come on down.
Yep, from The Price is Right. Closest to 150 without going over wins 25 cash. Who do you got to win that for the 2 points in our personal pick'ems?
Ooh, let's see. I really want to win that money, but I really think Vic's. So I'm gonna pick I was gonna pick myself, but I think Vic's gonna score over 150 points, and I also predicted myself to win, so I can't pick myself for this. So
I mean,
Raph,
what if you get 149 and he gets 148? You would win.
That is true, but I'm not going to go that way.
All right, who are you picking?
All right, you're
picking me.
I am picking you. I believe that you are going to hit 149.8.
Damn, that's I'm gonna go with Danny. He's gonna score 141, and everybody else is either gonna be below that or highly above 150. So I'm going with my buddy Dan.
K Nasty.
Yeah,
K Nasty, my winner. Winner of the week.
K Nasty might win if the contest was closest to 100 without going over. But I'm gonna go with D Corst 150 without going over. And so, yeah, that brings us to the end of the pod. We do have another special segment for you, but I'm gonna let her do the talking.
What's up, ladies? Welcome back to This Just In. As promised, I'd be giving you the most bootylicious fellas out there. But before I get to that, let's talk Antonio Brown. In case you've been living under a rock, business is not booming. Get that fish-killing, threatening texter piece of shit off your team. Yes, Jalen, I am talking to you. Okay, back to our scheduled programming. If you have any of these fellas backing that ass into the end zone, you are guaranteed to find yourself in the championship. The top 5 tight ends with a nice tight end, if you know what I'm talking about, are Kyle Rudolph, Zach Ertz, George Kittle, Greg Olsen, and TJ Hawkinson. And by far, with honorable mention, Jake Butt, who plays tight end. Let me repeat myself in case you missed that. Jake Butt, who plays tight end. I mean, that is just comical in itself. But my advice to you, if you don't have any of these fine ass fellas on your roster, then you need to get on top of these trades. Jeff, yes, I am talking to you now. Step up your game and get some trades going. Next week, we'll definitely be covering the mustaches that I want to ride all the way to the championship. Stay tuned.
All right, Raph. Any last words you want to say to your next week's opponent?
Jeff, suck my balls.